So when we're developing a new product design, or actually a new product, we have a process, the end-to-end product development process. So what does that actually involve? Well, we do have 5 phases. So the first phase, does the product really fit? Will the product meet the competitive test? So we're generating ideas, we're discovering, but we have to do something with those ideas, right? So we're first brainstorming. We got to brainstorm those ideas. Then we move on to the second phase. Do expected sales growth and profit justify the investment? So we're going to start screening these ideas. We're going to see what the scope of these ideas are. And hopefully, we're going to weed some out, but we're going to have a lot that keep on moving. So the third phase, as the product comes to life, you get a better sense of how it will really work. So we can see it actually becoming a real life product that would actually work. And then phase 4, the final opportunity to make a go or no-go decision. Are we going to move forward? Or are we going to say, stop this right here? Are we going to launch a rocket? Or are we going to hold off and not do it? And then 5, we're going to generate and fill demand. So our marketing folks are going to start advertising the product. Our sales folks are going to start selling the product. And then our manufacturing is going to start meeting that demand. And then the supply chain is involved in all of that, because we have to make sure the products or the materials are there to make the product. And then move that product from wherever it's being manufactured to our customer. So here, if you look at that funnel, we have the discovery, idea generation. We're going to move down to screening and scoping, so we're losing some ideas that didn't make it. We're going to look at our business case analysis. We're going to look at development, test and validate. We're going to launch that product, and then we're going to see if it's a profitable or it's a loss. Hopefully, it is not a loss for us, right? All right, so we have some stage gates here. So with our stage gates, these are points that we're going to evaluate whether we continue moving forward or we're going to kill the idea. And every company has different ones, so this is just a general one for you to look at. If you don't have one at your company, this might be a good one to start with, and then develop your own. So when you think of stage gates, actually think of them as gates. Your idea does not move forward if the gate does not open. If the gate opens, your idea moves on to the next one. So we have our stage gates up at the top, kind of a visual representation of that. And then we have a scorecard on the bottom. So at each stage gate, we have gate 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the launch at the end here. Each gate can have its own scorecard. So we have here our must-meet criteria. Fits product strategy. Evaluation, yes or no. If no, kill. That's our decision rule. Technical feasibility, yes or no. If no, kill. Positive return to risk ratio. Evaluation, yes or no. Decision rule, if no, kill. Kill the idea. It does not move forward. And then you do your evaluation at the end here. You have your product advantage, market attractiveness, synergies, financial considerations, and then some subcategories below those. You see the decision rules are blank. You might say, if it does not overall score above, I don't know, 35, half is 70 there, well, then we're not moving forward. And at each stage gate, that possible score of where you kill the idea, that score might get increased. I don't know. It's up to your company to decide what your stage gates are. All right, so So if we look at a sequential, functionally oriented product design process, this is what it would look like. You got marketing, feeds into research and development. So marketing is trying to get those ideas from the customer. They feed that into research and development. So research and development kind of plans what that product's going to be. They develop it. They send it over to operations with the specifications. Operations will say, this is what we need. Finance will say, is it profitable? But operations is also going to kick it down to purchasing. They're going to try to get some quotes. Request for quotation. That's what RFQ stands for. They're going to send it out to the suppliers, are going to give those pricings to fill that quotation, the request for quotation, RFQ. Once that all the way goes back all the way up to operations, operations hands it over to finance. Finance says yes or no, and if everything's good, it will launch. This is just kind of a quick overview. There's lots more steps in here. It might sit in research and development for 3 months before it even gets to operations. Operations, it might sit there for a month while it's trying to get all the information. Finance might take 10 minutes. I don't know. Depends on your individual company that you end up with. So, what about concurrent? I mean, this is sequential, so one step follows the other. But what about concurrent, where everything's happening at the same time? All right. Well, we have ideas. Are moving into plans, moving into specifications, which are moving into requests for quotations. We're getting a pricing structure, products profitability, and then finally a launch. So there's a team, and all this is happening at the same time because it's a team. So whoever's doing the request for quotations, the RFQs, is listening to what plans is doing. And they're getting information from specifications to send out those requests for quotations. They don't have to wait until everything's been given to specifications or operations. They don't have to wait. They can try to get some preliminary quotes through a request for or RFI, a request for information, while the idea is being generated. Or maybe the idea is kind of fuzzy still, but they can go ahead and request for information. Or request for proposal, RFP. They can do all these things while the idea is still developing. And finance can start looking at it and saying, okay, we need it to be in this price range for it to be in our ideal cost. And then the team would then, as it appears here, would make the decision to launch or not. So this is team orientated. Everybody's working together. So who should be on this team? Pretty much everybody. Every department should have a say. Marketing, research and development, or engineering. Companies call it either R&D or engineering. So it just depends on where you are at. Operations, finance, purchasing, logistics. Your customers might need to be on this team. And your suppliers should probably be on this team. The more input you can get, usually the better product you're going to have. Because not everybody can think of everything, right? You're going to have somebody that might have a unique point of view because of their past experiences and environment they grew up in. So they might have a different view on how the product should function. And it might be something that no one in R&D even thought about because they might have all came from a strict type of background and they don't think outside the box. Well, marketing might think outside the box. I hope they do because marketing is a dynamic field. So you want to have everybody on the team. Just one from every team or every department. And if they're not pulling their weight, the team manager or team leader should request a replacement. Everybody should be involved, not just sitting back and riding the wave. But anyway, the new product development, it's the future, right? Because you're developing a new product. So of course it's in the future, right? And that new product might be what makes your company get onto the Fortune 500, make it into the Fortune 100, maybe become into the Fortune 10. Who knows? They might even replace Walmart, who's, I think, been the number one in the Fortune 500 for the last few years. Hey, it could happen. And it could all be because of one product. So, this is, end-to-end product development. Now, this is a quick overview because as supply chain, we're really kind of subject matter experts in our area. So we're the operations, purchasing, and logistics. Sometimes we have even finance under us, but that's however the company's structured. But it's a new product. It can be anything you want it to be. So next, we're going to look at financial viability because we keep talking about, is it worth making? Well, let's look into that.